What can you do? What can you do?
Clean,
you can do the
and
bloody job I've hired you to do.
is much more.
Don't you dare show your face around here again.
Brings me to my final
I'm in touch
concluding
with
part.
humanity.
For you see, it is not the radiation that has brought upon the changes we see. The answer is simple, or rather rendered simple through a certain lens. Hydrophilic epigenetics. You see, the radiation doesn't affect material DNA. No, this is a child's understanding of biology. The radiation was the catalyst. Ladies and gentlemen, what
Maybe
I am
I'll visit
proposing
outside the walls
is a
sometime.
longitudinal
See how the other
study
half
into
live.
the origins of the Thames Brook. With adequate staffing and governmental funding, well, the money isn't important. The potential is. We face the very real prospect of manipulating the physiological boundaries of humanity. This should inspire even the hardened cynics amongst you. So, if you're on the fence, think of it this way. Would you like
It
to
must
breathe
be
underwater?
horrible to live in
Perhaps
places
fly like a
without
bird? Or have a hardened carapace? Fund my research, and these will no longer be dreams, but reality. Thank you. I hope to see you all at my gathering. Thank you for attending my lecture. Dr. North, always keen to help someone interested in the sciences. Though I imagine it was all a little high level. Thanks for trying to follow along. Perfect. I was just thinking, you know who was leaving it rather late. You know who I'm talking about, our neurotic superior. Look, I can't really go into detail here. Meet me in my lab. It's accessible via Hyde Park Corner Station, southbound Tom. Unfortunately, the trains only stop at the lab for me, so you'll have to make a dash for it. Be careful not to get squished.
Look, Commoner, I'm not buying anything.
I'm trying to eat here.
Please, I'm far too busy to deal with you right now.
God, did you see that explosion? At that tournament, you could see it for miles.
What?
Should I be
I'm busy.
worried about how a part of me finds this darkness?
Am I invisible, or are you an invalid?
Which
There's
is
a nice cafe on Bridge Street. One of my favorites. Probably a bit expensive for you, though.
like this place. I don't like it at all. And I'm a walking corpse.
With a tear in your eye, you missed that magical place where we fell in love. Yes, we fell in love again. We need a
I've always wanted to work in an underground laboratory.
Can't talk. I'm in the middle of something.
Glad you made it. You'd be of little use to me as roadkill. I assume you're broadly aware of the plan. For the next few days, I'm going to be hosting a series of open events, fundraising for my research project. Though, as you may have realized, I don't need funding, no. My research funds itself. Not directly, you understand. Smythe is my patron, and is very happy with my work. Unfortunately, in my line of duties, I have gained myself a deadly admirer. Spy from those fantasists Camelot. I believe her designation is Guinevere. God, what idiots. Albion must be the most insufferable place in London, and that particular accolade is hotly contested. You are correct. Discretion is always preferred, but in a crowd, she'll feel safe. It's the only way to guarantee her attendance. The situation is too precarious to ignore them. Tolerate absurd morons with a penchant for swords and explosives. Smythe wants to infiltrate Camelot and destroy them from within. Your job is to nullify the subject and extract a genetic sample. Smarter than some, clearly. A spermatic sample would not be appropriate for our purposes. A blood sample will do. My admirer has been following me for quite some time and is good at her craft. Other agents have failed to isolate her, so we've devised a trap. The surveillance devices was intercepted and later allowed to reach its destination. That destination was Guinevere. She's clearly planning to use those devices to snoop on me. I'll be hosting a gathering at this address for the next few days. That should give you the anonymity to address the issue. The garden will be inaccessible without a key. Here, one for you, one I'll leave for her to swipe. Any questions? I doubt that would work. This person has voluntarily put themselves at great risk. They're motivated by material benefit. If we want to remove this rotten growth, we must not just destroy the branches, but the roots. Camelot represents an ideal, a dangerous one. What we need is an inside man, or in this case, a woman, to help us do that. The curtains will remain closed, and the back door locked, and there'll be too much noise inside to hear anything. No, the event is catered. Oh, a couple more things. I think it's best we don't acknowledge each other's prior relationship at these events, and make sure you wear something nice. Be seeing you.
I've never understood why some people insist on dancing
They
at
say
these
that the most
events.
important
It
target
just
for a
ruins
researcher
the
is
rhythm of the
love for
conversation.
their
Publish, publish, publish.
It's only now
That's all my
I'm
supervisor wants me to do.
writing a PhD that
What if I
realised
want to keep my
what
thoughts
true
to myself,
passions
eh?
are.
What about that, Professor?
I'd just leave that rubbish behind if I were you.
The joys of academia. Everybody's talking, no one's listening.
Oh, don't ask me. I'm just here for as much free food as I
Ah,
can carry.
fundraising season. The time of year where we beg for
Fundraising
money
season.
in the name of
The
science.
time of year where we beg for money in the name of science.
Can I help you? Yeah, I don't think so. Can I help you? I'm listening. Most of the attendees are lifelong academic types, so that's to be expected. I don't disagree. While North is an eccentric, this is a departure from his normal work. I should know, I've been following him, his research, for some time. His research area of interest is closely linked to my own. I've been compromised. Shit. I'll follow you to the garden.
I'm no use when it comes to looks. My hands are far too soft. Do you happen to have a brush? My suit is covered in dust.
I'm excited to see the silent auction items. I always bid a penny on everything in case I'm the only bidder.
Where's the extraction team? Fuck!
We're fighting now.
Like this.
So, we're all here, are we? I trust you have the sample? Good. The family I rent the house to shall sleep well tonight knowing that only I am listening in and not some Camelot brute. Oh, who am I kidding? They don't know about the cameras. Here's gratuity for your services. Now, hand over the sample. Excellent. This'll do nicely. And it seems you managed to do it completely undetected. You know, you're one of the few people lucky enough to see this process. I've been perfecting this cloning technique for quite some time. I do understand why my research is being kept confidential. The hordes out there would tear us to pieces to get it. The genetic material provided by yourself won't be used directly in the process. Somatic changes in the organism are merely detected and replicated into the blank. The blank themselves are a real work of genius, of which I can only take partial credit. The typical human genome, wonderful as it is but a mere draft. What nature forms through blind chance, death, and intercourse, we have superseded, all imperfections removed. Every nerve, every sinew has been fine-tuned to achieve its maximum potential. Within the physiological constraints of biology, of course, each trait can be tailored for each subject. However, we're throwing all constraint out of the window with our little homemade collaborator. We've only done that once before, and the results were mixed. My hope is Guinevere will be quite formidable from the outset. Excellent. In record time as well. Come forward, subject. A fine addition to a long list of achievements. Since you're not doing much in this process, would you kindly mind giving our employer a call? I just have to finalize calibrating emotional responses.
Seeing your face as confirmation of the plan's progress.
Yes. Everything has gone perfectly according to the plan. Thanks to my efforts, we will fit...
Thank you for the positive interruption, Dr. North. I had asked my associate, but of course, I'm eternally grateful you're here to correct my missteps.
I didn't mean to be overly familiar, Smythe. I just felt better equipped to discuss the situation at hand.
No, no. As per usual, you're perfectly correct, Dr. North. You are the authority in that room. Did you manage to successfully load that abstract syntax module I sent you?
Yes, although I would have preferred this was sent to me sooner. I didn't have time to scrutinize the routines.
Are you suggesting I've made a mistake?
From what little I saw, these routines are incredibly abstract. Very complicated. I think a second set of eyes may prove to be useful should we wish to develop the potential of the technique further.
Is that so?
Memory association while disregarding emotional response is a complex process. I'd remind you that our last subject failed in this regard specifically. As such, I'm not 100% sure the subject won't face complete conscious subversion if exposed to severe mental stress. I think this operation has been recklessly hasty. We need time to test these new routines before deploying into the field.
Quite right you are, Dr. North. If you would oblige me, we can test a few routines right now.
Okay then. Yes, that would be ideal.
Step forward, please. Yes, you. Correct. You are Guinevere. Now walk over to Dr. North. Excellent. Now we can test these darn routines. Are you ready, Dr. North?
Ready and waiting.
Guinevere, kill Dr. North.
Why?
I'm sure you realize by now that Dr. North had an attitude that limited his career as an angel director. It's not that I didn't value his work. I treasure it. He has perfected the creation of biological clones beyond the scope of the original project. But brilliance is a deceptive trait to wish for in a subordinate. Narcissism quickly follows. Don't worry, his intelligence won't go to waste. Ironically, a scientist specializing in cloning, thinking he was irreplaceable. Wayfarer, meet our new recruit at the gates of Camelot. Infiltrate the castle and kill Arthur. Real name Richard Gwyn. Report back here so we can conclude the experiment. Be seeing you.
Speak your mind? Hail, mate. What's your business?
Open the gate.
In a rush, are we? Very well. Open the gate.
New recruit.
Guinevere, what are you doing here? Who is this? Was your cover blown? I don't like this. What's going on?
Richard, I remember you.
Of course you remember me.
I'm sorry. What have I done?
I'm used to emerging victorious from things.
Very good work. Oh dear. You will have to accept my sincerest apologies. Though I must admit, I had anticipated such a thing might happen. North's previous attempts at cloning were also flawed successes. After all, North warned us of the possibility before his demotion. I owe you an apology. I should have been more attentive to the risk. Politics and science have one thing in common. Despite the veneer of competence, intellect, and prestige, they are risky endeavors. Gambling, really. Please understand the motivations for ending North's employment are sound, even if the delivery was somewhat intemperate. The simple truth is, conceit allowed him to be compromised by Camelot. A man that loves himself cannot help but indulge baser habits, carnal instincts. The threat is too significant to facilitate such weakness. It has almost... No. They will likely be in disarray moving forward. Infighting, subdivisions, all that hubbub. Numerous small bands of anarchists, socialists, communists, and other ists that live under the general umbrella of idealists are actually very useful. If there is unity and consensus amongst these people, there is a potential to cause serious lasting damage. If there is unity and consensus amongst these people, there is a potential to cause serious lasting damage. It's possible. As I said, politics is a gamble, but ultimately it was unlikely. More likely, there was no gold at the end of their tunnel, merely a rampant, uncontrolled bloodletting when the dream died. Well, I'm proud to say that North's research is concluded. The people may forget his work, but I certainly won't. And you, I am pleased to say, have performed beyond expectation. Your next employee review is looking incredibly healthy. Considering the demise of Eve Varney is also the talk of the town, You are lacking an assignment. Return to my office.
I've always wanted to work in an underground laboratory. The director's not a fan of idle talk.